Our top story, a Columbus man who was brutally stabbed and confined to a wheelchair as the result of a racially motivated attack in 2020 was given closure this afternoon. The man who did it was convicted of aggravated assault by a Muscogee County Superior Court jury. WRBL's Hannah James was in the courtroom and files this report.
On August 25th of 2020, Michael Hunt was stabbed 7 times at his workplace by 22-year-old Jayvon Hatchett. After viewing a video of police brutality against a black man in Wisconsin, Hatchett told police he set out immediately to kill a white person. Take a listen to how Superior Court Judge John Martin describes this act.
Perpetrated the worst hate crime in my recent memory. I don't know that anyone hears a person say that they are going to premeditatedly go out and kill a person of another race. I mean, that's the absolute definition of a hate crime.
Both sides presented expert witnesses after defense attorney Steve Kraft entered a not guilty plea by reason of insanity defense on Hatchett's behalf. Based on testimony from Hatchett, his family members, and ex-girlfriend, Dr. Christina Gleiser testified she diagnosed Hatchett with schizoaffective disorder type bipolar after the incident. She says that video caused him to go out and, quote, protect his race in a psychosis. District Attorney Stacey Jackson called Dr. John Palmer, another psychologist, to the stand to dispute the defense expert's findings.
It is my belief that due to those symptoms of psychosis, even though there's evidence to suggest he knew that he'd committed a crime, that because of his mental illness, he did not feel that what he was doing was morally wrong. He felt that he was justified in defending his race.
There's not sufficient evidence to conclude that he would have lacked the mental capacity at the time of the act to distinguish right from wrong, or that because of a mental disease, injury, or congenital deficiency, a delusional compulsion overmastered his will to resist committing the alleged act. There's not enough evidence to draw that conclusion.
The question for the jurors was not did Hatchett commit the crime, rather was he sane when he did it. Deliberations only lasted 2 hours.
Count 1, the jury finds the defendant guilty of aggravated assault. Count 2, the jury finds the defendant guilty of the crime of possession of a knife during a commission of a felony.
Hatchett is also charged in the 2020 jailhouse murder of a white cellmate. The DA offered Hatchett a plea deal Monday before the testimony started. The state offered to wrap all 5 cases against him into one guilty plea for a life sentence with the possibility of parole after 30 years. However, Thursday he was sentenced to the maximum to both charges, 20 years for aggravated assault and 5 years for the possession of a knife during the commission of a crime. Both sentences to be served consecutively, a sentencing DA Jackson said the state was pleased with.
He sought out a victim, based on race, and for no other reason, and like he said in his interview, that he wanted to kill someone. And the person that he wanted to kill was a white male. And so it's pretty, egregious. Obviously, there was an intent to kill, and like the judge said, that other than by the grace of God, that we would be trying a murder case versus an aggravated assault.
You tried your best. You stabbed him 7 times to try to kill him simply because he was white. That the roles had been reversed. The white person had gone out to say, I want to kill a black person, and stabbed him 7 times in the neck. We probably had civil unrest in this city.
Hatchett's defense attorney Steve Kraft denied to comment, given there are additional charges pending against his client. Hatchett still faces murder charges. If convicted, he is looking at an additional life sentence without parole on top of the 25 already sentenced. Back to you.
Hatchett is accused of beating his cellmate Eddie Nelson Jr. to death on September 5th of 2020. Hatchett was indicted for felony and malice murder in connection with that death.